say. So you can just imagine a huge crowd of people in this house. Imagine maybe like 300 people in this home. I imagine 300 people in my house. I'm like, oh, that's a stretch. And so here they are, there's this crowd. And at the end of verse 17, Luke says about the atmosphere, and this was interesting to me, and the power of the Lord was with him to heal. So you can just imagine the atmosphere there. Crowd of people, it's like electricity in the air, and it's just like, you just feel this presence there. Anyone ever get electrocuted? No? You have, right? I'm sure you have. You look like the type that would get electrocuted. But I remember this one time, I used to work at this camp. Me and my friend Eric, we were walking up the hill, and it was like lightly drizzling, but you can hear thunder, you can hear lightning, like, it was coming. So we're walking up this huge hill. We call it Cardiac Hill because it's like kind of steep. Walking up Cardiac Hill, and then maybe a fourth way up, all of a sudden, our hair, it just all stood up. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that, but all my hair stood up, all his hair stood up, and we kind of just looked at each other, and we were like, yo! And we just sprinted up this huge hill, this Cardiac Hill. We just sprinted up, we tried to get in our dorm, and we're like, I don't know what happened, but I got goosebumps everywhere. And so I kind of imagine that's the type of feeling that was going on here. It's like, they can't really describe it, but there's just this feeling of power in the air. And here they are. Everyone's crowded. And then this group of men, it says in verse 18, and behold, some men were bringing on a bed a man who was paralyzed, and they were seeking to bring him in and lay him before Jesus. But finding no way to bring him in because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and let him down with his bed through the tiles to the midst of Jesus. So if you can just imagine with me, Eric, just kind of, you don't have to close your eyes, but you can if you want to. And so there's this house. There's a huge crowd of people. 300 people there. And then 4 men, we read in Mark that there was 4 people. There's 4 men and their friend, let's call him Bob. And so these 4 men, they're carrying Bob, and they're trying to get in this house. They see that it's completely crowded. There's no way to get in. And they do the unexpected. Normally if I was there, we tried to go to a restaurant yesterday. They said, oh, it's like a 2-hour wait. And we're like, well, I guess we're going to Taco Bell. Let's have a family sit down at Taco Bell. We didn't go to Taco Bell. Usually that's our reaction, right? They say, oh, it's going to be a 3-hour wait. And it's like, all right, let's go somewhere else. I would have been like, Bob, sorry, bro. We didn't get here early enough. So let's just try again tomorrow. Jesus is going to be here for a while. If we leave really early tomorrow, maybe we can catch him. Right? But no, that's not what these guys did. They did the unexpected. They decided, hey, we're going to climb on this roof. Right? Let's get on this roof with the paralyzed guy. Let's get him on the roof and, let's dig a hole and let's bring him down. And it's not like what you imagine. We imagine sometimes there's a skyline, right? So you just open the window and then they let him down, or some trap door, right? And it's like, oh yeah. No, if you do your research, it's weird because their roofs were just all right, so they had the 4 walls, and then they would lay timber down, and then they would put sticks in between the, where the timbers are. They would put reeds and other things, and then they would just start putting mud. It could be a huge layer of mud, sometimes a foot deep. And then they take rollers and they just roll it and they just pack it in so that it's a permanent thing. It's not like these roofs were just like hut roofs where you could just take it off, in and out, whatever. These were supposed to be permanent fixtures, right? And so here they are. They climb up and they start breaking this roof apart. And I'm always trying to imagine, whenever I used to think of this story, I always imagined the people up top. But then we had that one Sunday school class, and they made you think about the perspective of the person inside. And you're thinking, you're here, you're listening to Jesus, again, electric atmosphere, all this power, amazing teaching, you're just listening, you're so zoned in, and then all of a sudden you hear thud, 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 in the ceiling, you're just thud, thud, and all of a sudden dirt starts to fall, and you're like, You know, these Pharisees that are sitting there, they usually dress really nice, and then they start getting dirt. The people at the back that don't like the Pharisees are like, oh, you're getting dirty. And so dirt's falling, a stick falls, and it just like hits someone in the head. And then all of a sudden there's like a hole, and like 4 sweaty guys peer into it, and they're like, oh. And then they just keep digging, make the hole bigger. All of a sudden there's this body coming down, right? They're bringing them down in 4 ropes. And if I was Bob, I'd be terrified, because if they angle it the wrong way, if someone's like starts slipping the rope down a little too quick, you're like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's this person here. And it's like, okay, there's a guy in front of me. What's going on? And then all these thoughts, like, I'm trying to imagine being there. Like, what an unexpected thing. You know, and then the perspective of the owner, we also brought that up. Imagine you're this owner guy. You know, there's already 300 people in your house eating your nachos, your Taco Bell. And they're spilling, you know, Kool-Aid everywhere. And it's just like, man, this crowd is here. Like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden you look up and it's like, hey, that's my roof. I'm like, what's going on? That's not even your house. And then it's like, oh yeah, we're vandalizing for Jesus, whatever. And it's like, I just don't understand this like whole idea. And then all of a sudden there's a hole there. And there's somebody there. And so these thoughts just go into my head. But I'm trying to, again, we're trying to kind of look at it from the perspective of these men. And what I see about these men, that they were desperate for Jesus. They were desperate to bring their friend to Jesus. They didn't care what other people thought of them. They didn't care if they hurt the Pharisees by dropping these rocks on them. They didn't care about anything else but getting their friend to Jesus. They didn't care if anything got in their way. They knew they wanted to see Jesus. They wanted to have their friend encounter Jesus. We've been talking about that a lot, right? Encountering Jesus, really getting to encounter Jesus. And so they did not let anything get in their way. No crowd was getting in their way. No religious leaders were going to get in their way. No judging looks, no awkward moments, no awkward stares. They weren't going to let anything get in their way of them seeing Jesus. They were desperate. And desperate people, they do desperate things. Ask yourself, have you ever been desperate? Have you ever done anything crazy or what other people would look at as crazy because you're desperate? This is what they were doing. They were desperate. You know, I heard a story once of a desperate boy. So the date was February 14, 2002. He was a desperate young high school kid. Now, he left his house early in the morning, and he said, you know, I'm not going to go to school today. I'm desperate to see the love of my life. That's what he said to himself. So he took a taxi cab, crossed the bridge, and entered into the island of Staten. There he entered into the school of the Falcon, the Wagner, Susan B. Anthony, or whatever it's called. Susan E. Wagner, that's what it's called. I try to keep that school out of my mind. He was desperate to see this girl. He knew one day he would marry this girl. So he goes in, not thinking about what may have been the consequences. He didn't care at the moment. He was desperate to see this girl. So he goes in, he realizes he doesn't know where he's going. So he decides, you know, I'm going to walk back out. And I'm going to walk back in and then ask properly the security guard. So he walks in ever so smoothly, like he always does. And he steps in front of the security guard and he says, sir, you know where I can get a visitor's pass? I'm here to see a special friend of mine. Security guard looks at him. He doesn't realize he was school police. And he says, sure, let me help you out.